Oh, that's it. Here we go. Let's broadcast this out.
Yeah.
Looking for. Yeah, there she go. What's up? What's up? There she go.
Hey, I'm muted.
All right. Can you hear me and can you see me now? No.
You on mute? You can hear us?
Take your mute
I
off.
can hear you.
Take your mute off.
Your mute is on though.
Your mute is on.
I just took it off.
We can't hear.
Hold on. We can't.
Can you hear me now?
No, we can't.
Turn the volume. That's volume.
I mean, you know.
Speak.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we good. We good.
Oh, okay.
Good. Let's get it. Let's get it.
What's up?
What's up?
Yeah.
Everything good. Good.
How's everything been with the corona and everything?
Oh, crazy. So things have slowed down. Let me just turn up my volume. So things slowed down, of course, you know, because of Corona, everybody was like on a standstill. Week before, I was really crazy because of business deadlines. But now that all these stimulus packages is out and everyone needs their bookkeeping and their taxes and all of, you know, it now involves me. So yeah, I'm like just as busy, but I can't complain because some people can't work at all. So I'm not complaining.
That's a big fact.
So
yeah.
So we got a lot to cover. We got a lot to cover today. This is something that is extremely important. It couldn't be anything that's probably more important than this right now, as far as so many people are uncertain about the stimulus package that just came out. It's 800 pages. So it just came out on Friday, and it is broad ranging. It affects everything from unemployment to small businesses to people with mortgages to people with student loans. So we're going to talk about a lot of different things, and hopefully, you know, we can help the people. But first and foremost, I want to say welcome back, because you was actually our first guest, our first alumni that we ever had on Earn Your Leisure.
Thank you for having me back.
Yeah. And sure. you was one of our early EYL University professors, so thank you again for that.
No problem. Always showing up for you guys. I love EYL people.
Sure. So what we're going to do is that we're going to talk, and then we're going to open it up to questions from YouTube, from EYL University on Zoom. Shout out to all of the Zoom EYL University
all our
members
earners over there. What up?
And yeah, you know, these YouTube lives are real engaging, and they're real, you know, organic. So we're just gonna get it going. So the first thing I want to start with is the SBA business loan. Can you talk about that?
Okay. Yeah. So I'll talk about that. And I'm not necessarily sure, as Rashad just said, is very informal. So I don't know what he's going to ask me. He doesn't know what I'm going to say. So we can talk about those loans, but then I also want to talk about the other loans as well, because there are a few other loans, and then we can move into grants and everything. So the SBA loan, what did you say?
I said, let's do it. Let's do it.
Oh, perfect. So SBA loan is really, it's backed. Well, you can apply up to 2 million, right? So when you apply, you are eligible to receive up to $2 million of the SBA loan. Why I have a lot of clients reaching out to me is because there's an initial application process that everyone has been posting the link about. However, they ask you a very important question, right? How much was your revenue for last year? And how much were your cost of goods sold? How much were those things? So based on those things, that's how they're going to determine how much of a loan you are going to receive. A part of that SBA loan, which is called the EIDL, I think is I'm drawing a blank right now. Economic industrial disaster loan. I believe that's it. So the EIDL, I'm just been talking about it so much, so now it's just EIDL to me. So the EIDL loan pretty much just says, okay, you can get up to 2 million. However, when applying for the loan, there is $10,000 that they say, okay, you know, do you want to receive $10,000 up front? That $10,000 really is, it's basically going to turn into a grant. So that $10,000, if you follow the restriction, the guidelines and restrictions that they set forth, which I'll discuss in a minute, that loan can then turn into a grant. And it can turn into a grant by, so you have, and as I mentioned, there's a few different ones. So with this one in particular, you have the 2 million and you have up until December 31st of 2020 to exhaust that, to spend all the money, but it has to be within the guidelines of payroll, mortgage, insurance, interest, things like that, things more operational necessities of the business. So if you are able to exhaust all of those funds that you receive before December 31st of 2020, then that portion of the loan is forgiven, meaning it's free money. Mm-hmm. However, now let's say if let's say they give you $100,000, but you were only able to spend $80,000 of it, that remaining $20,000 is going to turn into a loan. It will still be a very low interest rate loan. So regardless of how you slice this, the money is free money and it's cheap money, right? Because you can take those funds and really invest in your business and really help your business grow. So that is the SBA loan.
Who qualifies for that loan? Is there a certain amount of employees that you have to qualify for that?
Under 500 employees. So it can just be you. So I get that a lot. So it's for self-employed. It's also for any businesses. And I'm glad that you asked me that, because I want to stress the importance to everyone on how important it is for everyone to get their applications in immediately. So it just requires you to have less than 500 employees. However, what they did add and they did include in there is that franchises in restaurants can apply for that as well. Now, why that is so important is because you have someone like McDonald's able to apply for the SBA loan because they're seen as, they can apply as individual franchises, right? And then most McDonald's, you don't see 500 employees in there, right? So now you have the whole McDonald's able to apply for this SBA loan. So how long do you think that these funds are going to stay available? You have the McDonald's, the Burger Kings, the Taco Bells. Every restaurant, if it's a chain restaurant, they are going to be seen as individual like applicants, right? For every single location. So that's major. That's major. And that means that these funds are available, but they're also available on first come, first served basis. So that's
I was just actually watching the Secretary of the Treasury. He said that the application process starts tomorrow. Is that the word? Tomorrow you can start applying?
So you can apply for the SBA loan now. They're going to start processing it on their end tomorrow. Okay. And then also the payroll, the PPP, the Payroll Protection Program loan, that's also a loan that they are going to start applying for and making available tomorrow. So I don't know if you guys have any other questions about that. If not, we can move into PPP because I kind of want to talk about that one.
Those servers are going to be going crazy. I hope it can crash.
Yeah. Let's talk about the other one.
Okay, so the other one is the Payroll Protection Program. So that one is a great program for any business owners who have payroll. So even if it's yourself that's on payroll, this is a great program. And I really like this program because even self-employed people can apply for the PPP. And we will also talk about unemployment insurance. You do have to make some decisions because you can't get PPP and EIDL and unemployment. You have to kind of choose. So with PPP, it is a payroll protection program. And the point of this loan specifically is for business owners to be able to save their payroll, right? And so with this, the difference between PPP and EIDL is that you have 8 weeks to exhaust the money that they give you. And in terms of the funds that you're eligible for, it is 2.5 times your payroll, your average monthly payroll. So again, that's where a lot of clients need me, because people don't, they need their payroll reports. They need, all of their financials so that they can apply for this loan. Now, that loan application opens up and can only be submitted through lenders, through a small business lender. So I'm in the process of connecting with my Bank of America rep so that I can just send my clients directly to them, because, it's one thing to know that you can apply for the loan, but if you don't know who's applying, and then really trying to get in contact with a banker may be almost impossible, because again, you got the McDonald's, the big franchises of the world that, these bankers know them one-on-one, they're going to prioritize them. So, you want to make sure that you have someone that can push your application, or at least submit your application, so that you can get this money. Now it is 2.5, and this is also a loan, works very similar to the EIDL loan, where the payroll protection, well, the PPP is, as I mentioned, you have to exhaust it in 8 weeks. It is 2.5 times your payroll. Now, let's just say in 8 weeks, you aren't able to exhaust all the money that they've given you. That will all the remainder that you can't prove out that you paid out your employees, then what's going to happen is that portion will turn into a loan, right? So that portion will also turn into a loan.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Is it you have to choose one of these programs, or you can just do as many as you want to try to apply for?
So you can apply for the EIDL and the PPP. So however, how it works is, let's just say you apply for EIDL and you apply for PPP. What will happen is, if you get approved for PPP and you get approved for EIDL, what will happen is that your EIDL will be reduced by $10,000 of it being forgiven, right? Because it pretty much is saying, like, you receive that, your PPP will be reduced by 10,000. Right. And it really depends, right? It's going to depend on who's giving you more money and where, it matters most. But the idea is that wherever you're getting that other money, it's going to reduce it, right, by that amount.
Are there stipulations to it as far as the employer, in terms of them not laying off their employees? Is that one of the stipulations in order to qualify for the loan?
That is a stipulation for the PPP. You have to retain your employees, and you also receive a tax credit, which we can talk about that more so in the tax side of it, because there are a lot of tax provisions and things that people can take advantage of, as well as it relates to, filing for their taxes. That's also going to be a credit. You're going to receive, a credit for retaining those employees, which is really good, because when they were originally going for the bill, the reason why it took so long for them to pass it and the Democrats wouldn't allow them to pass the bill is because there was no stipulation in there stating that these businesses had to hold on to their employees, right? And so then that would have just been a situation where people could just fire everybody, take this money, and then reorganize their business. So that I'm happy that they held off for that one, because everybody still won in terms of people being able to keep their jobs, and then business owners really being able to hold on. This bill was really, really, really about employers and employees, right? I particularly think there will be another bill coming. This was a third bill. I think there will be a fourth bill for real estate, because there's not a lot of perks in here for real estate. But if you see how the mortgages, like, people aren't paying their rent, mortgages are not being paid. So I feel that there is going to be another bill, and that bill probably is going to specifically relate to real estate. Not set in stone, but that's what I think, because there's not much in here where real estate owners or banks are really benefiting.
I've seen in the news, a lot of these small businesses that haven't generated a lot of funds, especially in the last year, are actually encouraging their employees to claim unemployment, because the unemployment rate has gone up, right? Now, I saw it used to be $400. I saw it was $600. Is it an additional $600 to the force, and now it's $1,000 a week? How's that go?
Yeah, so how it relates, and it's different state by state, right?
Okay.
Every state has a minimum on what their unemployment is, but their unemployment can range from, you know, whatever that base amount is that you would normally get plus $600. So I mean, you know, that is also something good. However, a lot of businesses are laying off their employees so that they can get that you know, get that additional income. I mean, get that replace their income with the unemployment income, because in most cases it may be about the same, or at least, you know, not as little as just the $400 or $500 every single week that unemployment will offer. So you do have a lot of big companies like laying their people off, like, listen, you know, I'm going to lay you off. And that's why unemployment numbers are so high. We are on unemployment, so I just want to talk about unemployment for a little bit. What I like about this.
One thing before we get on the
Sorry.
shout
Okay.
out to Joseph. Shout out to Joseph Brown on the super chat. We appreciate it. And I know we're going to switch to unemployment, but I wanted to see if we had any questions from Zoom.
Yeah, if y'all got questions on Zoom, feel free to raise your hands and we will definitely get to you, all our EYL earners over there.
Zoom, if you got a question on Zoom, let us know before she moves on. We'll give you like 20 seconds to see if anybody has a question about any of those loans that she just got finished speaking about.
Yeah, to see if any of those hands go up. I think we're good.
All right.
Oh, we got it. Tanya, what's going on? Tanya, we coming to you right now.
Yes, Tanya.
Tanya, what's up? The floor is yours.
Hi guys. So will that if my husband is a truck driver, operator, owner, will he be able to apply for the one loan that she was speaking about initially? Well, I think I may have jumped on a little bit late, but will he qualify for that?
How is your husband? Does your husband receive any 1099s, or is he the one distributing the 1099s?
I think, you know what? I'm not sure.
Okay,
I know
so
he has one employee in himself.
Oh, you said what?
He has one employee and then himself.
Okay, so with owner operators, I've seen a few different scenarios. So I'll just give you the scenario where if he is operating as a contractor, meaning he's operating as self-employed, I'm not sure if he's receiving his income as any sort of he's receiving his income as like under any business. However, if he is not, he has a few different options. And that's why it's so important to sit down and really analyze these. If he's just operating as self-employed, he has the option of seeing if unemployment is best for him, because we'll talk about that. We'll get more into it, but unemployment for contractors is now an option. The EIDL, depending on how his business is organized, he can definitely qualify for that one. PPP, he can also have an option to qualify for that one because he is self-employed, but then that it also means, has he been paying payroll taxes throughout the year? Most contractors are not, they don't have themselves on payroll. So, it really just depends on how your husband's income is flowing in. If, you can always reach out to me after so that you can give me the specifics of his specific situation so that I can give you better advice. But he has options. He definitely has options and he definitely can apply.
Thank you, Tanya.
Thank you. We're gonna go to the next question, but before, so yes, once again, shout out to MG, the mortgage guy in the building on the super chat. We appreciate you, bro. So
MG.
MG, the legend himself. Shout out to MG. So once again, for anybody that doesn't know how this works, we do these twice a week. We're gonna be doing these live video conference with different EYL alumni, different guests that we bring on and talk about different topics. And we have two different ways how we sort questions. We have Zoom with the video, and then we have the YouTube. So Zoom is the first priority because those are EYL University members, and those, so they get the video conference. Everybody can just watch it on YouTube, but just so the YouTube people understand how this works, Zoom has first rights to ask questions. EYL University, tremendous platform that we have going right now.
Yeah.
Shout out to MG, the mortgage guy. He just started and he's leading up the private real estate group.
Oh, it's going crazy.
Yeah. So if you want to be a member of EYL University, we have the 60% off code.
Yep.
EYL
149.
149. EYL 149. That's for the entire year. It's like less than
$12 a month.
$12 a month. Yeah. And yeah, it's either that or it's $29 a month, right?
Yeah.
Either or. So 149, EYL 149. You can go to the link in our bio, earn your leisure, or EYLuniversity.com.
Yep.
EYLuniversity.com. Put that code in. So yes, the next we're gonna do one more from EYL University.
All right, I got my man AOOG.
AOOG, what's going on?
That's our guy.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
What's going on, bro?
Nothing much. So I established a business, filed for a business on the 5th of this month. Well, not this month, of last month. I was wondering if I could take advantage of all these opportunities.
The 5th, so March 5th?
Correct, March 5th.
Most likely not. So let me think through this. Unemployment, you wouldn't be able to unless you can prove that you were operating as a sole proprietor before that. So if you have someone that you were working with before that plans to issue you a 1099, you can apply for the EIDL loan for the SBA. And guys, as I didn't mention this, but I have created a web page on my website that's titled COVID Relief Benefits and Loans, I believe. But it has everything, like every link to every loan, every benefit, every state for unemployment guidelines and their websites. So check out my website because it has everything on there. But if you can prove that you were making income or operating as a sole proprietor, because you don't have to be a registered business in order to qualify for these loans. You can be self-employed and that is fine. So if you are operating under, as a business prior to, you forming it on the 5th, then you can qualify for EIDL. I'm sure unemployment, the same exact thing. Payroll may be a little tricky because you haven't actually ran any payroll, so you probably won't qualify for that one.
All right, appreciate you.
Andre Hatchett, shout out to Andre Hatchett on the super chat. We appreciate you. Can you tell the people your website, Miss Business?
Oh, Miss Business 101. So MSBUSNINESS 101.com.
Oh, what is it? I'm gonna type it in.
MSBUS
Business 101.
Business101.com.
Mm-hmm. All right.
All right. So you was going into unemployment.
Unemployment, yeah. No more questions?
No.
All right.
They put their hand up.
I'm sorry, guys. Before we go into unemployment, I just want to talk about, there are 2 other loans. One is there's 2 loans. I tried to write everything down, so I want to make sure that I gave everybody everything. So there are 2 loans. Oh, there's an SBA 7A loan that you can qualify up to $10 million. However, that is a very challenging loan to get approved for. And that loan really is, they ask you to collateralize everything. Your house, you have to put up everything. Your house, your wife's assets, your vehicles. So that loan is available and can also be applied for through a lender. And there's also a SBA Express loan where you can qualify up to $1 million. So, I just wanted to throw it out there that those are also 2 other ones. SBA Express.
Is there a set website where all of this stuff is done at, or is it individual websites?
Individual, but I put all of it on my website, so they can go there.
One-stop shop. There we go, Miss Business.
One-stop shop.
Yeah, I tried. I was like, nope, I got to get everything like in one place for everybody.
Website is business.com.
That's the site you go to.
101.com.
Yes.
That's a fact.
Everything is there. Okay, so let's talk grants, right? I'm gonna kind of consider grants as unemployment. We'll also talk about the stimulus payment that everyone, is talking about that individuals are going to get. But let's first talk about unemployment. So of course, under typical normal circumstances, if you are laid off from your job, you are able to go and apply for unemployment. As Troy said earlier, you're now eligible for an additional $600, which is great. However, as I mentioned, what I really like about the unemployment and the bill is that they extended it to contractors. And I thought that that was really good because I do feel like we live in a gig economy now. Like everyone has like, you know, a side job. Like not everyone may have, you know, a 9 to 5, right? So because I felt like they knew that, right? Like they were aware, like, okay, we have all these contractors, you know, even people that are real estate agents or, you know, anyone who's insurance agents, anyone who's getting paid on 1099, I love that they were mindful of that. And so they did issue issue in the bill and say, okay, for contractors, you can qualify up to $600 a week. And so I thought that that was great in terms of what's needed. As I said, the link is on my website. There are specific instructions because it is new for people who are who are self-employed. So there's instructions on every single state website. And if your state doesn't have it yet, just, you know, give it a few days. All of this is new. Everyone's trying to get information out as much as possible. But if you go on the site and you'll click your state, it'll take you to your state unemployment website. And there should be specific steps there on what you need to do to notify them that you are self-employed versus being employed.
Yeah, because that's extremely important because a lot of people that's Airbnb hosts, that Uber drivers, Lyft drivers, and these are you know, what they call the gig economy. And these are jobs where it's not a traditional like 9 to 5 job, but you don't own the business. So it's like an independent contract. It's like a hybrid. So it's a great area in a lot of these situations. So I'm glad you said that because that's extremely important for a lot of people that are in that situation that may not, you know, especially Airbnb. Airbnb is huge right now because Airbnb is getting slaughtered. All the Airbnb hosts are screwed right now.
Yes.
So Airbnb specifically definitely has taken a major hit. And I know that they're eligible for a lot of this help as well.
Quick question. Now, I know that the money has increased by 600. Did they increase the duration of how long you can be on unemployment?
Yeah, so typically I think it's 3 months. They've extended it to 4 months. Okay. And who knows, maybe they'll extend it longer than that. But for right now, it's just up until 4 months. Okay.
So if somebody was already collecting unemployment, they're just going to get the increase. They won't get the extended duration.
No. So if someone is, you mean if someone's already on unemployment, like before Corona hit?
Yeah, before.
No, they would still be like they would just still stick to their regular guidelines.
Ooh, okay.
So if you do both, we'll answer one question from YouTube. If you do both, like if you have a regular 9 to 5 job and then you're Airbnb host or you drive Uber, can you? No.
No. Hold on. Because I keep getting asked this question. So was that the end of the question?
I mean, you started shaking your head, so I thought the answer was
no in advance.
Don't even ask.
No, stop asking.
No. So no, you can't. Okay, so you can't apply for unemployment. However, you can try to apply for the EIDL loan, right? Go on the website, apply for the 10,000. You won't be able to qualify for unemployment, but you can qualify for one of the loans, and that, you know, that 10,000 turns into a grant.
Fact. Oh. All right. Okay.
Sorry, that was inside of my head coming out. Like,
it's all good. All right. So what were you about to say?
So
I'm not sure.
You went from unemployment to grants, and then we're going to slide into the stimulus, which is, you know, millions of people are really interested in that and how much they're going to get and what they qualify for and what they don't qualify for.
Yes. So let's talk about that. As it relates to the stimulus payment that everyone is talking about, so you will receive $1,200 if you are an adult, $500 for each child, and the income is the thresholds are based on your adjusted gross income. So that is important because people are hearing that they have to make, if they're single, they have to make less than $75,000. But it's not $70,000 gross wages. It is $75,000 for your adjusted gross income. So those are two different numbers. Another thing, and I guess just to kind of keep going through the qualifications, if you are head of household, it's adjusted gross income of $112,500, and if married, filing joint, less than 150,000, right? And so those start to phase out as you start to make more money and you go above those go above those amounts. But one thing I wanted to point out is that how they're going to determine how you get this money. So if you have not filed your 2019, if you filed your 2019 taxes, it's going to be based on 2019. However, if you did not file your 2019 taxes, then they'll go based on your 2018 taxes. Another thing to note is if you have not provided the IRS with any direct deposit information, and what the IRS does plan to do is to create a portal where people can go on and provide their direct deposit information so that can be an automatic debit to your account. That link is also on my website. The IRS has not they're not complete with the portal yet, but the link is on my site. So once it is active, you'll be able to go on there and just put in your information so that you don't have to wait for a check. Now, if you do not provide them, you've never provided them with any direct deposit information, and you do not go on the portal, they will just mail you a check. Yeah. So just wanted to get that out. I've also received some questions about people with children, that because a child is considered less than 17, right? Anything above, most of the time parents are claiming their child if they are in college. But so the question is, hey, my child is 21, do they still qualify for the loan? I mean, do they get, the stimulus of $1,200? Do I get $500 for them? The answer is no, you do not. If they're falling in a place where you are claiming them because they're in school and you may still be taking care of them and you're claiming them, no, they do not. Now, what if, and that's why tax planning is important. Like, what if you didn't file for your child this year, but you filed for them in 2018? Maybe your child needs to file for themselves in 2019, therefore that they can receive that $1,200 check if you haven't already filed for them, right? So, just be smart about it, analyze, contact me so we can kind of figure out like what needs to be done so you can get this money.
That's right. So if you didn't file your taxes for 2018, you got about another week or so to hit up Miss Business to get your taxes filed. There's been some confusion, and I know they kind of cleared it up over the last day or two about our population that collects Social Security and those who are receiving money from disabilities. Are they now eligible to receive the stimulus of $1,200?
They are, but they still have to file a tax return. And so what the IRS is still working on, of course, they're saying, just get your taxes done, if you can locally. But what they're trying to do is figure out some sort of portal where they can quickly do like an express tax return. However, I don't know or wouldn't bank on that too much. I don't know what they plan to do. That's what they're saying they're going to do, but they are still required to submit some sort of information so that they can qualify, because they are just going to be basing this off of your taxes. So that is extremely important.
So we got 75 if you're single, 112 if you're the head of the house, 150 if you're joint. That's who is eligible. Are there any people who are not eligible to receive the stimulus?
If you owe child support, you're not eligible. So if you owe child support, if you have a judgment.
I'm not looking at you. Stop, man, stop.
Rashad don't owe no child support.
No, he don't owe no child support. We don't owe nobody. We don't owe the government. We don't owe child support. That's not happening in our lives. But so people who owe back child support, they're obviously not qualified.
Won't qualify. Or if you have any sort of judgment against you, you won't qualify. So meaning if you owe the IRS, they're not giving it to you. Another thing that another question that I get a lot. If
you owe back taxes, no?
Yeah, no. If you have a judgment, it's a difference between owing and then having a judgment against you.
Gotcha.
Right. So judgment means that you've been ignoring the IRS. And they're like, all right, no, you're not getting that money. So yeah, those are the things. One thing that I do want to cover is just about if the money is taxable versus it not being taxable. I've received that question too. People just wanting to know, hey, next year, am I going to have to pay taxes on this money? No. So the answer to that question is no, it's not taxable. It is free. It is basically seen as a tax credit. And so you don't pay taxes on credits. So Yeah, it's nothing that you have to do. You do have to file for it correctly next year, so you're not paying taxes on it. However, it's not income. It won't be considered income that you have to pay taxes on. So.
Can we ask a question from
Yeah,
EYL
we got
University?
a question.
But EYL first, we're gonna answer these questions, the written questions, but it's a lot easier for us. That's why we give you guys Zoom access if you can say it verbally. So try to say these questions verbally in the video.
Yeah.
That'll help the conversation
So like
a lot.
if you look at the bottom bar, it says raise your hand. That'd be a lot easier. We just see your hand go up and then we can go right to you. So Darian asks, how does furlough work if you are in commission?
How does what work?
Being furloughed work if you're in commission-based, I guess, business.
So it will work the same way. So if you're furloughed, and I've been asked this question a lot because a lot of my clients are asking like, hey, what happens if I'm furloughed versus, you know, it being a situation where I'm laid off? You still can apply for unemployment. You still can apply for it.
All right, Joel, we're giving you the floor. The mic is yours. Joel, what's going on?
What's going on?
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, just tell your line down a little bit.
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you good.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Thank you for giving me a chance to ask this question. So I have an S corp, and I'm looking to apply for the EIDLA loan. One, do I need to file the 2019 taxes?
Okay. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you was gonna say more questions.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm sorry. And I do have one more question after that. I do owe taxes. I do not have a judgment.
Okay. So if you don't, okay. So first, let's talk about the EIDL because that the EIDL isn't based on if you have any past taxes or not. As long as you've never been revoked or terminated from any sort of loan on the SBA side, you should be fine in terms of, you know, qualifying for that EIDL. However, so to your first question, you have an S corp. Have you been generating income in your S corp, or do you just have it and you haven't been doing anything with it?
Hold on. We gotta unmute you.
Go ahead, Joel. You can answer.
Yeah, I've had the S corp now for 3 years. I'm a realtor, and that's what I use to get paid out on it.
Okay, so you have options, right? Because were you paying? I'm sorry, you guys. You have to unmute him one more time. I just need one more answer from him. Were you paying yourself a salary, which is a requirement of an S corp? Hello.
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Were you paying yourself a salary?
No.
No. Okay. One, make sure you start paying yourself a salary. That's a requirement of an S corp. Now, your options really are going to be the EIDL loan or the unemployment, right? And the reason why is because it's just you and your business. So, you know, you'll have to figure that out. But to your question, yes, you can apply for the EIDL loan. And the fact that you owe taxes is not an issue.
Thank you, Joel. We're gonna go to Jamal on Zoom. And once again, somebody asked for the Zoom login number. The Zoom is strictly for EYL University members. So once again, if you're interested in joining EYL University, it is $149 special for the entire year, which is like $12 a month. And I'll put the information in there. It's on EYLUniversity.com. Code 149, 60% off sale.
EYL 149.
EYL 149. I put it in there. EYL 149, EYL University, 60% off sale. And yeah, this is what we do. We bring value and resources twice a week. And then a whole bunch of other stuff. Workshops, the real estate group on Facebook, a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
so,
a lot of content, a lot of gems. Jamal, the floor is
Jamal,
yours.
what's going on, bro?
Hey, fellas, what's going on? Miss Business, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing well. Stay safe out here.
Good. I'm trying.
Appreciate all the information that you're providing. One question I had, right, is that, you know, if you've set up a sole proprietorship or LLC, right, but you are also working full time, can you still take advantage of that from your side business?
You cannot apply for unemployment, but you can apply for the EIDL. If you were processing payroll and you have employees, you can qualify for the PPP.
Okay. Now,
loan.
so I have a sole proprietor company, and pretty much like I pay myself. How would that work? I can apply for that, and that would possibly get approved.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, you can just apply, and yeah, you'll get approved. One of the main questions they're going to ask is like, how much revenue did you generate? The one thing about this SBA loan is that they haven't started sending out or requesting follow up for the support in terms of documents that they're going to the documents that they're going to want. So I'm not sure. Most of the time, as it relates to banks, if they, let's just say hypothetically, if you started your business, end of, we're talking about you, I formed your business, so I know, end of December,
Right.
if you may have to either provide tax returns, or if it's not tax returns, then you may have to provide a CPA letter, right? I sign off on a lot of letters just pretty much showing what the projection of a business is, so that they'll say, okay, I'll say, all right, well, for this year or for these periods, this is how much income or expenses that Jamal's business has made, and they'll be okay with it. But it's very difficult to say right now because they haven't released any support that they want for these loans.
So one question from YouTube. We'll jump.
Appreciate you, Jamal.
We'll jump to
Thank
you
you
for a minute for a question. Somebody said, "What if your business didn't generate any revenue?" Like, I guess if you file taxes and you have little income or no income on your taxes.
So that is going to be a tough one, and I have been receiving that question a lot. For right now, the EIDL is based on your gross income. It is not based on your net income. So most people are not left with a profit. So for right now, the only questions that they're asking is what's your gross profit and what is your cost of goods sold. They aren't even asking about any of your other expenses. So they are basing that one strictly off of your gross income. So if you're just out there just spending money, they may not approve you if you tell them that you have no income, because the point of these loans and grants is to support your business and to make sure that you can meet your rent, meet your employees. But again, they haven't really put out there what additional information they want. So I'm not sure if, I would say apply. And the only thing that they could do is tell you no, because as it stands right now, they're not giving like specific guidelines in terms of, if your business isn't operating at all. Only thing they're saying is, okay, well, if your business wasn't operating last year, you're a new business, let us know how much money you've made this year. Right. And so again, you may, once it's time, you may just need like a CPA to sign off, verifying how much income that you brought into your business this year.
Yeah. Shout out to JoJo for that question. That was a good question. All right. We're going to talk about something else now.
Oh yeah, man. You want to go into
Well, did you have something that you want to go into?
Yes. So I do want to talk about, I want to just make clear that the EIDL, like a portion of that is forgiven, that $10,000 is forgiven. And then based on how you spend, the funds, it can also be forgiven, because the loan, the small business loan or the EIDL loan starts out as a loan but can be forgiven, right? So that's pretty much considered like a grant. That's free money. And the same thing with PPP, though that also starts out as a loan. And as I explained before, that can also transition into a grant of free money if you just spend it on your rent and, your payroll. And so I just wanted to, re-emphasize that, because that's major, right? That's basically free money. Like, you can bring more people onto your business, you can pay, your rent, you can interest, like there's so much that you can do with it. So I did just want to just emphasize that the EIDL and the PPP are kind of falling on both sides of a loan and a grant. Next, I really wanted to talk about like the tax impact of the bill. So if you guys wanted to talk about something before that, we can.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so one good thing, and I have a lot of self-employed clients. I deal with a lot of small business owners and real estate investors and brokers. So this one I thought was really good. If you do owe the IRS, traditionally the rule is after you owe the IRS over $1,000 or more, you are required to make estimated payments every single quarter. So those due dates are April 15th, July 15th, October 15th, and then January 15th of 2021 it would be. So what the part of the bill, what they did was they said, okay, we're going to do away with the estimated payment that you're supposed to make on April 1st, on July 15th, sorry, April 15th, June 15th, September 15th, and they're going to scratch all of that. And you just have to make one estimated payment on October 15th, right? And so that's major, right? That's major. Why? Because that's pretty much like a window of opportunity. That window of opportunity is that's money that you don't have to give out. That's money that you could be taking and investing in other things, putting to other things so that it can build you either some sort of investment income or something. And with the right tax planning, your estimated payment may not even be that much, right? So I stress tax planning with my clients a lot. It is necessary when you are making money. And so if you get to a point where you get to go through the entire year almost without making any payments, and then comes October and then you have to make those payments, it may work out where you may not even have as big of a tax liability once October 15th comes, because you'd have already been tax planning, figuring out what you're going to do with this money so that that payment isn't crazy at all. So I thought that was a really good one. Another great one is net operating loss carryback. So for you who are not familiar with what the net operating loss carryback is, when you are before the 2017 new tax act, what you were able to do is carry back your losses 2 years and carry forward your losses 20 years. So what that means is if you were operating at a profit in 2018 and 2019, but then in 2020, and you're operating at a loss now, maybe you had a really bad year. What you were able to do was go back 2 years and say, give me my money that I gave you back. I want to amend my taxes. I want to take the losses that I've incurred this year, and I want to offset all of the income that all of the taxes. I want to offset the losses against the income that I reported to you in prior years. So now I want to, I want my money that I paid you guys back. With the new tax law, what they said was there were no more carrybacks. You couldn't carry back your losses anymore. You now can carry them forward indefinitely, meaning that if you have a loss, you can keep offsetting all of your income over the years with that loss that you incurred in, let's just say, in 2020, right? So why that is so major is because now they are allowing you for 2018, 19, and 20 to carry back your losses for 5 years. So if you have losses that you need to carry back for 5 years, you can do that. If you paid some money to them, you can go say, okay, we can amend your taxes, and we can go to them and say, okay, that money that I gave you, I need that back. Right now, you can take that money and invest it in whatever you want to invest it in. So that was a really good one. There's some other ones like an interest deduction limitation. Instead of it being at 30% is 50%. Most people don't have that much interest that will even exceed it, but they did allow that one. And then this one is a really good one for qualified improvements. This one is really like a little giveaway for real estate owners, real estate investors or commercial investors, people who lease properties. So it's called the qualified improvement property deduction. So previously what happened was you can write if you had any improvements to your property that was considered a qualified improvement, you can write that off over 15 years. But there was a issue when the bill was passed where they changed it to 39 years. So now instead of you being able to write a lot of it off, it's kind of stretched it out and like decrease what you were able to write off by half. So that what they said was, no problem, we're now going to allow you to write that off. and you can take it back all the way until 2018 if you want to. So Republicans had to get theirs and correct it. So they did that.
What's the name of that?
Qualified improvement property.
So if I got a new roof, new HVC units in 2018, I can use that as a write-off?
Well, no, those are always write-offs. If it's an investment property, not if it's your personal property.
Okay.
So those are all write-offs. So this is more so like leasehold improvements to your property. If you're like a commercial lender, you're a commercial renter or something, then you can do it. It wasn't a big one because all that HVAC property, all of those were already in the new bill, and you can get bonus depreciation on it, meaning that you can take 100% of it in the year that you incurred it, but it was just that little piece where they messed up, and so they had to go back and allow that. So that's that. And those are pretty much.
One question real quick, because
yeah.
Tanya had a hand raised for a minute.
Tanya, we back with you, Tanya. What's up?
Yeah.
Oh, that was an accident. I'm sorry, guys.
It's all good.
Somebody else had one more question on EYLU though.
So I got a question here. It says, I know that the stimulus says if you file 2019, obviously this year, and 2018, but what if you didn't file 2017, 16? Does that come into play at all?
No, as long as there is no judgments against you for it, because sometimes what the IRS does, if you don't file, but they have income on record for you, sometimes they'll file taxes for you and say, all right, well, we filed these. If you think they're wrong, then, file them yourself correctly. But, sometimes they'll say, okay, well, you owe us money. And if, then it becomes a thing. If you ignore them, then you have a judgment. But no, if you didn't file and they haven't been contacting you, you should get your stimulus.
All right.
Yeah, yes, James. All our videos will be played back. They are archived. They are on the site, EYL University. So if you're a member, obviously you can go watch this at any time, along with everything that we've done the entire year. There's a lot of content.
Yes, a lot of stuff going on. All right, and then this actually too. So once again, for people that's not familiar, EYL University members know, but we do 2 of these a week for the public, and then EYL, they get the special privilege of ask questions. But once a week we do a private one.
Yeah.
Private one that only EYL University.
Yeah, Miss Business' first one was just for EYL members.
Yeah, your first one, and that's actually archived too. That was a really good one. Miss Business's first webinar for us is only available on earnyourleisure.com, only for Earn Your Leisure University members. And you had a slideshow.
Oh, is it?
That's the new format. That's the new format.
Is it because I gave you guys so much information?
Oh man, I say, yo, listen, we got that. We're gonna create the criteria from what she just did. This is now the standard, y'all.
Yeah, that was the blueprint. That was an extremely impressive presentation that you put together. So thank you, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
So yes,
I don't give anybody that. I've never even did that one again. I'm like, yeah, no, I can't do this. I gotta break it.
That's exclusively on EYL University. Exclusively on EYL University. That's a fact. Thank you for that. Thank you.
No problem.
So all right. So where was you about to go next?
That was pretty much it. So we have questions. That was all I wanted to really. Oh,
no, retirement.
Yes, that was my next one I was going to talk about.
Okay.
Retirement. Okay, so if you have a 401k, or if you have an IRA, typically and generally, well, I guess let's talk about 401ks and IRAs separately. With IRAs, you are now allowed to take out $100,000 out of your IRA. You will not pay a penalty, and you will have 3 years to either put the money back, or if you don't put the money back, what will happen is that you will have to pay the taxes, but it will be over 3 years. So I thought that was a great opportunity. So if you have anyone, and I'm not, this is up for debate. Everyone has their own opinion on if you should take money out of your 401k, if you shouldn't. I say whatever makes sense, right? So if you were thinking about getting an investment property or making some sort of investment or needed capital for a business, and it was going to help you and the numbers proved out, then this is now the opportunity to pull from your 401k. Because the reason why a lot of people don't pull from their 401k is strictly because of all of the penalties and the taxes that has to be filed, that has to be paid as a result of you pulling from these retirement accounts. So That is a really, really good one. Now, with the 401k, if you are, with a company, you have a 401k, typically you can take up to a $50,000 loan. Now you can take up to $100,000, right? And the same thing goes for a 403b, right? Plan. So that is major, right? And again, with these loans, you're paying yourself back, right? It's not like you're taking the money out. You are taking a loan against your own 401k. You are responsible for paying it back to yourself. And this may be the window of opportunity that you need right here so that you can make that investment, that you can, start that business. But again, it's all about taxes and, as it relates to like totally withdrawing it, it's all about taxes, and you want to make sure that that tax plan is together. Like can't tell you how many people I have spoken to that were already clients, and I talk to them, we communicate all year, and they're like, oh yeah, I took money out of my 401k. And I'm like, why didn't you tell me that? Right? Because that's important, because we can kind of figure out what you need to do with this money so that, your tax burden is lower. But if you wait until the following year to have that discussion, it's not much I'm going to be able to do for you.
So this year you could take money out of a 401k without any penalty. 401k or IRA, any type of retirement account, you can take money out without a penalty tax, right?
Yeah, which is usually 10% on top of the federal and state taxes that are due.
But you still have to pay federal and state tax unless you you could put the money back in within 3 years.
Yes.
So if you put the money back in within 3 years, you don't have to pay state and federal tax.
Yep.
So how does that work? Let's say if I have let's say I have an IRA, right? And I take $100,000 out of the IRA, right? So I don't have to pay any penalty tax, 10% regardless, even if I don't put the money back in. But next year, do I get a tax bill for that? Or do I have to tell them I plan on putting this money back in, so I'm not going to pay taxes? How does that work? Or do you just get taxed 3 years later if you don't pay?
So it really, okay, so of course it's new. So the actual tax code and tax provision hasn't been written or released yet. However, what they're saying is that you'll have to pay. So I think it will have to be more so of a communication, and I'm sure that there will be a tax form where you'll have to know and keep track of it year over year. So let's just say in 2020, next year we're filing for your 2021. We're filing for your 2020 taxes. You may have to either tell the IRS, I'm taking this money out and I don't plan to pay it back. And then from there, what they're saying is that you'll have 3 years to pay it back. So let's just say you took out 90,000. You'll have to pay taxes on 30,000 every single year. So it's still not that you have to pay taxes on the full amount in that year. Now, let's just say you say to them, I'm going to pay it back. But let's just say you get to year 2 and you're like, yeah, I'm not going to pay this back. I'm sure that you'll just have to pay, then you'll have to pay it over 2 years. And so that's what they're saying that this tax provision is going to be like. And again, if you do decide to pull out money from, your IRA, or if, let's say you're not with the company anymore and you withdraw your funds from your from your 401k, then make sure that you are filing your taxes with someone that knows what they're doing, because filing your taxes with someone literally could be, it could be really bad for you, because then you're paying taxes you don't have to.
I know you said that there's probably going to be another stimulus bill, the fourth one, for people in real estate and obviously for rental relief. But in this stimulus plan right now, is there any provisions for people who are owing student loans?
Yeah, so I believe they suspended them for 6 months, right? So they've suspended student loan payments for 6 months.
Just federal or private, or which ones is it?
I think it's just federal. If I'm not, no, I think it's all of them. Well,
I talked to some people. That's how you made it. we got a question. Mike.
Yeah, I need that suspended.
Yeah. I got to call Sally Mae in the morning. Mike, the floor is yours.
Yeah, you should be calling everybody.
I'm in the building.
Mike D, what up, baby?
How you doing? What's going on? What's up, Miss Business? How you doing?
Hi, how are you?
How's it going?
Good.
Appreciate the information.
Of course.
You're doing your thing.
I'll try.
You don't try it. It's easy. It's easy. It's second nature. So listen.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Let me mute this. So I don't want to pay my rent. They cut off all my amenities, like no amenities. I can't move in my building. Packages are not getting delivered. What do I do? What if someone like myself that they're asking for my rent? They're not trying to give us anything off of the rent. The parking is messed up. The amenities is no amenities, no packages. We have to come downstairs now to get packages. What is someone like myself supposed to do?
Oh, you fancy.
He has to get his own mail. That's the
Oh my.
Oh, but no, real talk. I pay for that.
They don't open the elevator for me anymore.
Yes. So okay, with the new stimulus, they cannot evict you. However, they can still request to ask for rent. Now, in terms of you not paying and because all these things, that's more of a legal question. You should probably, contact a lawyer, hit up Sabine, maybe, maybe she can help you in terms of, just kind of saying like, hey, I'm paying you rent and these amenities are included. So if in the event these amenities are not available, like I don't want to pay your, I don't want to pay your rent, or I don't want to pay you the full amount of the rent. So that's probably more of a legal question. They can't evict you for it. However, if, with you just straight not paying, you probably need to talk to a lawyer.
Well, yeah,
but so it's not like I heard. Well, this could be true or not. I don't know. Are they doing something for like mortgages where you don't have to pay a mortgage for like 60 days or something like that?
So what's happening is it's for 90 and they are allowing it to be put on the back end of the loan, right? So it's not even a situation where you don't have to pay it. You don't have to pay it right now, but eventually you are going to pay it. But then that's also going to cause an issue with banks, right? Because now banks still have to pay all of these property taxes and have to pay all these things, and they don't have any money coming in. Like I know people who have money coming in who still like, I'm not paying this, and they don't want to pay it just because some people are just trying to get over it, but some people are just like the environment is so uncertain that they're like, no, I'm trying to hold on to all my money that I have.
Yeah.
So, it's
Got you.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
We appreciate it, Mike. Miss Business, that's actually something that I was interested in as far as the mortgage thing. I think she's muted.
Oh,
We gotta go back.
my fault.
Yeah. So the mortgage thing is huge, and then also from the rent perspective as well.
Yeah.
So you said that the landlords are not allowed to evict tenants right now.
no, so they can't evict them right now. But I just think that
That's in the bill, or
that was passed. I don't know if it was in the bill, but I know it's a law. Like they can't evict them.
okay.
But I just think that this is like, you can't evict them now, but what do you think landlords are gonna do in July?
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna get evicted. And it's so unfair because really, the $1,200 that they're giving people, that's not enough for you to take care of your rent and your children and food and all of that. So
Definitely not in New York.
New York, that yeah, I don't know. That's definitely not happening in New York.
Something that a lot of, because shout out to Lord of the Slums. You know Lord of the Slums, right? Fernando? Shout out to him.
Yeah.
Him a few days ago. We're working on getting him up here to do one of these things for us. And he was saying, they huge in Patterson. They own all of these units, and he was like, a lot of his tenants already is trying to like say they don't want to pay.
Yeah,
and it's important on the real estate side. Cause I know it's a lot of our real estate. Shout out to our private real estate Facebook group.
Yeah.
I know a lot of real estate people follow us. Shout out to MG the Mortgage Guy and all the real estate people that we've had on the show. So this is important to understand as a landlord, what to expect. And that non-eviction, and that's what he sees, like once they told people that they can't get evicted, just give the free
They're
rent.
like, I'm not paying this rent. And
Yeah.
it sucks. It sucks because, it sucks for the individuals that can't pay, but it also sucks for the landlords, right? Because sometimes these landlords may have one property or two properties, not every landlord is a big landlord where, they can afford to just be like, okay, no problem. But I'm hoping that this next bill that they pass if they do release another bill, will relate to real estate. And I think that they're going to wait for it a little bit because it's going to take some time for it to start showing. And I think it's going to be towards real estate. It's going to be towards the banks because right now it is, it's bad. It's going to be bad.
Yeah, because I mean, a tenant can say I don't have it, but the landlord can't tell the bank I don't have it.
I don't have it.
You know what I
Right?
mean?
I mean, they can for 3 months, but again, that's still money that they're paying on. Again, that's still, you know, more interest that they're incurring on their mortgage, and I don't know.
We got to have somebody who might know a few things about that, man. MG, what up, my guy?
Hey. Where
Yo,
is
what's
he?
good? What's good? What's good, y'all?
What's going on? What's going on?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we
good.
good,
I
man.
can hear you.
Shout out to Miss Business, superstar CPA,
You
dropping
labeled
nothing
me,
but
eh?
gems. We appreciate you, Miss Business.
Thank you.
Nah, actually, Rashad labeled it to you, and I took it from him.
You did, Rashad. Oh, I've been giving back
So, look,
all the credit.
you know, I'm gonna take what I can get though. So keep it coming. But nah, I wanted to say, we were talking about the mortgage forbearance, and you said that they put it on the back end. So I just wanted to chime in on that part right there. Not every lender is just putting it on the back end.
Oh.
So there's a difference between forbearance and a modification. Typically, when you put money on the back end of a loan, that's done in the form of a loan modification. With a lot of lenders, they're not offering that option. A lot of them want their money month 4. So if you take the 90 days forbearance, you're not going to get reported negative. There's no interest or penalties or anything like that. It's only until June 30th, and then July, they want all 3 months plus July's mortgage payment. So you essentially have to pay 4 months.
Now, in terms of numbers, right? If my mortgage is $2,000, right? When I get to July, I'm gonna have to pay the $6,000 for the 3 months plus the $2,000 for. So I'm talking about $8,000 I need by July.
Correct.
Wow.
Correct. Now, what they're telling, and look, I put out a video about this the other day because a lot of my clients have been calling me about this. So I've been on conference calls with probably a good 25 different lenders, just helping people understand the terms. What a lot of them are saying is call back in June to see what the options are, because what I don't think people realize, when the government just came out and just said all of this, right? The government, first of all, how can you tell investors what to do with their mortgages? You know what I'm saying? I don't think people realize that mortgages are packaged and sold as bonds on Wall Street and mortgage-backed securities. So there's people who own those mortgage notes, and they have to be the ones who make the decision of what can be done. It's a good thing that everyone stepped up and said, hey, we're going to help, we're going to do this. But now they have to kind of like scramble and figure out what's going to happen after those 90 days. Like, think about it. If somebody can't afford to pay it now, they're damn sure not going to be able to afford to pay it, 4 months up front.
4 months.
So it's a lot. So what a lot of lenders is telling people is call back in June, and they're going to have either 2 options for them: either a repayment where they'll spread that 90 days over a certain period of time, and it would increase their monthly mortgage payment, or they allow them to do a loan modification where they can put it in the back end of their loan, and they're going to either extend the term or lower the rate, so that way they can still keep the payment affordable. But the question that I've been asking all of them, because typically a loan modification is reported to your credit in a negative fashion. And in that stimulus bill, like I read the mortgage part up and down. I didn't see anything in there that stated if you did a loan modification, you wouldn't get reported negatively. Jessica kept on saying forbearance is no negative, right, Ms. Business?
Yes.
So like, my main concern is if people go ahead and take this modification, will banks report that negative to someone's credit report? And those are questions that, in all honesty, the service and lenders cannot answer right now because they don't know the answers until June.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm advising people is, listen, and like you just said, Ms. Business, a lot of people with money are taking advantage of this, and they're just doing it just because they're looking at, well, I can just stack that money, which is true.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to caution everybody, just before you agree to something, read the fine print, ask questions. Nothing is free in life. Ask
Yeah.
questions.
That's powerful. Thank you for
So
that.
that's all I wanted to come
before
on
you
and
go,
say, because people.
What we about to say?
No, go ahead.
Nah, I was saying that that's a lot of gems that you just dropped, and people really, it's I don't want people to take this for granted. As far as we appreciate you as a mortgage professional coming in. We appreciate Ms. Business as a CPA, certified public accountant. Like, these aren't just people that's just on Instagram. That's just like they actually have certificates, and they actually are real professionals in their field. So to come on and to educate the whole world, not even just the community, the whole world, and just give of your time is extremely honorable and commendable. So before we even move forward, first of all, foremost, I want to thank both of you guys for just always being a beacon of information for us online, offline, in person, in social media.
No problem.
It's very needed. It's very needed for sure.
Yeah, that's the EYL family. So we appreciate y'all sharing y'all knowledge. Not only like Josh said, like the world's getting it, but we learning too, man. We sitting here with a pen and pad writing down as y'all speak. So thank you so much. Hopefully everybody in here gained some value. I'm sure y'all did.
But wait, MG, when we got you on the horn, can you talk about the product? This is something that we're extremely excited about. Just started last week, and anybody that knows MG knows how much information he has on the real estate game. Just all of the gems that you just dropped. Can you talk about the private Facebook group, Real Estate for Earn Your Leisure? Thank you for heading that up for us, because like I said, we're really excited about that.
Yeah, I mean, EYL private Facebook group is it's on the way up, man. I think we're a little bit shy of 200 members. I go live in the group. Well, I started this week going live every single morning after I do my walk, and now I'm just giving market updates daily to the group. Where interest rates are, where they closed out for the day, and whatever news that I feel is relevant to the group. We have probably 50% of the group is first-time home buyers, and the other half are either first-time investors or seasoned investors. And then we also have industry professionals in there. I mean, we have Sabine, the purpose lawyer, in there. We have Beyond Win, who's a wholesaler. We have Malik Carter in Philly, who's a realtor and an investor. And we have different professionals in there giving insight from their lens. And it's just a community, man. A lot of engagement, exclusive content. They have direct access, so they're able to call me at any given time. I say my cell phone number in the group frequently, and take advantage. And we got a lot going on. Like today, I hosted a break bread session via Zoom, where we just had, hey, kick it for an hour, come with your problems, your thoughts and what you're trying to get into. And there was about a good 5 members on the call. It was the first one, so I was excited about that. Got a lot of questions, a lot of Q&A answered, and we're going to post that video for the group. I guess sometime today or tomorrow, once Mike finishes with the edit. But the group is I'm very excited about the group, man. I wish we could do a little bit more, but we can't go outside right now, so we're doing the best of our ability. We're keeping it inside, and I'm adding more industry professionals. I'm basically adding my entire Rolodex into the group. All my connections, so people looking for contractors, wholesalers, realtors, all over the country, they have somebody's there.
Man, we're gonna put you on mute. you chopping up, but
Yeah, you sound like Optimus Prime.
yeah, but
Transformers.
nah, Matt, you're doing a great job.
My baby want to be able to continue to have our community.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, Matt. And yeah, anybody that's asking, the group is the EYL Facebook group for real estate. EYL University Facebook group. That's the name of the group. But it's $19 a month and only $19 a month.
Yeah, for all that information.
But if you're a member of EYL University for $149 for the entire year, which is the promo code we're running, you get access to the private real estate Facebook group. So all that information is on EYLUniversity.com. So yeah, $149 for the entire year gives you access to the private Facebook group as well, as long as these webinars and workshops and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, we got a lot of alum that are going to be in that Facebook group, and he named a few of them, but we got a lot more alum that are going to be joining that group. So there's a wealth of knowledge in there. There's a wealth of experience from anything in the real estate game that you can think of, developing real estate. So make sure that you're part of that, and more importantly, make sure you're part of EYL University.
Yeah, code EYL 149 EYL 149 at EYLUniversity.com. Miss Business, can you tell the people how to contact you? It's extremely important that they have your information, because these are difficult times, and you're going to be in deep trouble if you try and do this stuff yourself. You need a professional.
Oh, absolutely, and you got a few weeks left before those checks go out, and you better have 2018 files, so you better hit her up.
Yes. So you guys can reach me on Instagram at Miss Business 101. My website is missbusiness101.com. If you want to email me, my email and my office number is in the bio of my Instagram, but my office number is 212-652-2902. And my email is ask@missbusiness101.com. You guys can feel free, slide in my DMs. I do answer DMs, but keep in mind, it is the last priority for me. Because I have to get to my emails, my office, my staff, my clients. So, DMs usually fall to the wayside. So, if you're serious, schedule a consultation. There's a link in my bio to schedule a consultation to make sure that these things are, filed correctly. You don't want to report the wrong thing. You want to make sure that when they follow up and request these documents, that we're able to provide it to them. So Rashad and Troy, you guys will definitely be hearing from me, because we need to apply for them loans for you guys.
Yeah,
that is a big fact.
No, we need a small business loan for sure. That is a fact. We're gonna talk after this is over.
This is just not for for YouTube. This is really our CPA, yo.
So you apply for people?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I could apply for people, and then I also, help them prepare and gather the documents that they need, right? That's the hard part. Like the SBA, it's very simple to go in and do it. But what's going to happen is when they give you that follow-up with, that final part, when they are trying to approve you, that's going to be the things that you're going to be like, oh shoot, I need somebody to help me with this. If you don't, have your P&Ls and your balance sheets, and, you're not able to prove out those balances for them. So, yep.
That's gold.
I'm getting everybody together. I'm kind of excited about this, because I feel like it's free money, and I'm helping people get free money. So I'm happy.
Let's get to it.
Nothing better than that. And you work with people not just in New York, all over, right?
Yep, I work with people in all 50 states. I have clients everywhere: Atlanta, LA, Michigan, everywhere, Florida, Ohio. I have clients everywhere.
Yeah, AOG is lit for sure.
All right. Well, yeah, that's it, right?
Yeah, appreciate y'all all for tuning in. YouTube, we love you. Zoom.
Next week.
EYL, we love you.
Next week, we got a very, very special. Should we announce what we're doing next week?
No.
All right, we're not going to announce what we're doing next week, but we got a legendary situation next week. So every Monday and every Thursday, we're going to be doing it. Every Monday and every Thursday from 8 o'clock to 9:30, we will be doing these YouTube lives in conjunction with EYL University. Then I think next Wednesday, we got a private, just EYL University class. But we're going to be doing these a lot. I like this interaction. It's very good. People get to ask questions in real time. And so tell a friend to tell a friend, subscribe to our YouTube channel, sign up for EYL University, join the real estate private Facebook group. It's lit. It's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of information, and it's important that we understand and we know what's going on. So
Ricardo said when the new merch dropping. We got a new shirt that's dropping probably in 2 weeks.
I need to raise my hand. hold up. I'm sorry. I gotta speak for the girls. When y'all gonna drop some merchandise for us? Let me tell y'all, hold on. Let me give y'all my story. Hold on.
Yeah.
So I think like maybe like right after I was on the podcast, I got a crop hoodie from you guys. When I tell you guys, this is the best material I have ever had in a sweatshirt. Can you guys show some love to the girls? Like,
yeah,
we believe in assets over liabilities too.
Now
like,
we got now the new colors is coming out for the assets or liabilities. You've been seeing a lot of people been hitting us up like, yo, we want the colored ones. The color ones look like certain colors like 101s, like we just made them for like our live events. But a lot of people have been asking for them. So we got a special colorway coming out for our ladies. We love our ladies.
And we're gonna do the workout, expanded material stuff.
We got a lot coming.
PYL University.
They trying to cancel summer, but you know, we got something coming for the summer.
All right, because I've been asking for like a year now, so I'm gonna need, like, I can't keep wearing the same sweatshirt
We gotta get you
all the time.
No, we got you. Oh,
all right.
You just got a $20 super chat. We appreciate that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Shout out to everybody on YouTube, man. Everybody that's locked in on YouTube.
Thank you. Thank you.
This will be up there in about another hour and a half.
Oh yeah, Ian Dunlap. Shout out to Ian Dunlap. He was generous enough to extend his stock club promotion to Sunday morning, Sunday at 12 o'clock.
Okay.
So you can click the link in the bio of Ian Dunlap's live, which was Monday if you're interested in the stock club promotion, but he extended that till Sunday.
Shout out to Ian, man.
Yes, Miss Business, we will be in contact.
Yes.
We're definitely gonna be in contact about that loan because we need to apply for that for sure. And
yes.
Thank you for sharing gems with the people. Make sure you hit Miss Business up.
No problem. Contact me, guys. This is free money. Like when the real estate crash happened, maybe 2008, 2009, they were giving everybody on their taxes like $7,000, $8,000. And then you hear about it now and you're like, dag, what could I do with that money? Like, find out what you can do for this free money that they're giving. These things are opportunities. And it's not, they say that it's going to be available until June 30th. Do not believe that. As I said, this money is going to go quick. It's going to go fast. And you want to make sure that, you know, you're able to get this free money.
Yo, you just put us on a whole lot of games.
Can I just ask one more question before we hang up? Student loan. Did we talk about that already?
Yeah, we talked about student loan.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So that's 90 days, right? You don't got a federal student loan for 90 days.
I think it's 6 months. You have 90 days? I thought it was 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
We are going to announce the two people who won the sponsorship. That's coming out this weekend. So be on the lookout for that. We're going to send an email out. This is obviously from our EYL university members. We got two people that are going to be on part of that stock club with Ian. There are two people that have been sponsored. So we're going to announce that this weekend. Be on the lookout for your email.
Yeah, so watch the playback. If you came in late, watch the playback. We talked about a lot of stuff early on, mid-through, and at the end. So, yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank you guys for having me. I'll talk to you guys.
All right. Thank you.
All right.